Good morning. This is Bobby Dupre with the Bobby Dupre Show, presented to you each Thursday morning at 7 a.m. And, of course, it replays at 7 a.m. on Friday on the television and on the internet portion, and again on Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. Lots of people watching it. That's a very popular time, at 2 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. And, of course, on radio, 12:30 a.m. on your dial. It's been I'm in my 36th year there, 11th year on television, and probably 6 or 8 years on the internet. And of course, I want to welcome my sidekick here, Mr. Andrew Guitros. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. We've got a lot of good things to talk about, and that's all we ever try to bring up on the Bobby Dupre Show. We've been doing this on radio for 36 years, and never ran out of good things yet, and hopefully, and I don't believe we ever will. So let's get right into it. Terrible rains we had.
Yes, sir.
This past Monday. It probably had been, what was it, about 12, 15 years ago, the Karen Crow area had a 100-year rain, flood. But we've already got
the second 100. We crossed into the second 100 here when you went from 1999 to
That's
2000.
correct. And it could happen again this year. So I guess what I'm leading up to is your typical fire policy and your typical homeowner policy does not provide flood insurance coverage. I think most people know this. Hopefully the agents are trying to sell flood insurance regardless if you're in a flood area or not, unless you're on top of a real big hill. It can create some running water that just can't get out. I mean, it rained so heavy, so fast, particularly in the Karen Crow area, the Orneville area.
5 inches an hour for nearly 4 hours.
And it really put down a lot of water. And those of you that have flood insurance coverage, you are encouraged to make any temporary repairs that you can make until your adjuster can be there. And I spoke to Keith Fountain with the Fountain Group out of Pineville, Louisiana. They do I think that's their main or maybe the only coverage they do is FEMA coverages, and that's the federal flood program. And when I talked to him Tuesday morning, I invited him to stay at my house if he needed to come over and stay a few days. I know they're going to. He already had about 60 claims called in from insurance companies. So if you can ask your agent to recommend the Fountain Group, good people, Louisiana people. They're not coming from out of state and don't understand what happens in Louisiana.
He's been down here before. He's been down here adjusting claims for years and years.
That's correct. They've been doing this. So that's the Fountain Group. His name is Keith. If you have any problems reaching them, let me know, and I'd be happy to pass this on to you. And that's very important. The next big thing when these floods come in, you've got some people that come in to scam you, contractors that really a lot of times don't have the proper credentials. They can't give you some good references. They don't
properly bonded and
licensed, insured. They come in, they want a big deposit on the job, and sometimes that's the last time you see them is when they cash that check. And so do business with local people that you know. Now, if it's out of town and they can show you the proper credentials, you can call a few reputable people that can give you a good recommendation. That's fine. But stick to your locals as much as you possibly can, and you are going to be reimbursed if you make some temporary repairs. Present those to the adjuster if you have flood insurance coverage. If not, the area has been in Lafayette Parish, I think St. Martin Parish and St. Landry Parish have been declared disaster areas. So there could be some funding there. There'll be funding for the public roads and things like that. I'm not too sure about your personal homes, but look into it and see if something might become available.
You stay dry, no water in your house?
When it's going to get to my house, it's going to be bad, but it's not to say it can't happen.
Well, I live on top of a hill. In my backyard, I could see water standing on top of the hill. I said, it's coming down fast enough. It can't roll down the hill fast enough.
My ponds, my front pond overflowed.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of water.
Ron Nazat, who is my neighbor in the back, said he was watching the back pond to make sure that the drain, we have a drain that drains all the way into the gully.
If you get some leaves and all of the rain.
And all of that, it stops it up. So thank you, Ron, for taking care of that for me. And anyhow, it was a disaster. I had a hard time coming back. I had a meeting. I had two meetings, and the second meeting started at 12. It ended a little after 2 o'clock at Don Stemmon's feed store and horse supply store. It's not a feed store, it's a horse supply store. Mm-hmm. And we had a HBPA meeting, and when I got out, I took the service road to get back. They had said earlier, on Mustang, by the way, that's 97.7, I think is the number. Mm-hmm. That is a Delta Media company. Real good music they play. I really enjoy it. And they had mentioned in the morning early that you could still come use a service road, and when you'd get to the old Sunset Highway 182, you'd go through Grand Coteau. Well, when I got there, that
had flooded by that point too.
Well, it's that big deep ditch right off of I-49, that Elephant Walk subdivision, just past that. There's a real big bayou there that's low, on the road. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, the state trooper was nice enough to look at me and tell me, when I asked him how to get to Opelousas, he said, I would try I-10 and go to Scott, take the Scott exit, go through Cankton and Vatican and all of that area, and you'll end up in Sunset. And 182 in Sunset to Opelousas was good. And finally got home. It's a scary feeling, not accustomed to that.
Not knowing if you can get back to the house.
And I didn't have my toothbrush either.
It'd take me 2 hours to come back that way because I'd have to stop at the best stop in Scott and get me some cracklins and some boudin. Then I had to drive slow while I'm eating my boudin.
Talking about that, I had a meeting yesterday, and I brought a pack of cracklins from Abaz, Texaco Station.
There you go.
And they really enjoyed them. By the way, Mr. Lenwood, he had that blue starch shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
It's either a blue starch or a white starch. That's every day of the week. And that makes no difference if he's going on his tractor or whatever. He's going to have his starch shirt.
Piggly Wiggly, locations throughout South Louisiana. No matter where the water was, you could find one that was dry. Piggly Wiggly, 2 locations in Opelousas, Church Point, Rain, Scott, Cecilia, St. Martinville, even up in Simmsport. This week, St. Patrick's Day that's coming up, it's $1.59 for the quarter loin pork chops, and the boneless chuck roast is $2.99. Catfish nuggets, because it's Lent time, $1.49 a pound, and chicken tenders, $1.99 a pound, and they're large raw shrimp. That's the 16 count. Cool. Gulf Coast caught, $10 a pound. Get you some of that. All good. Piggly Wiggly knows best.
On the death side, I have several to mention, so I better start kind of early. Clara Perry Elder died, and of course, age 75, so I knew Clara, and although she went to AIC back in those days, OC today, and of course she was also married to a local Donald Elder, and that's Frankie Elder's brother, and they had 5 children, and I was not able to visit with the family, but Donald, I know you're going to take it hard. I did speak to Tina at the Palace Cafe, and of course she was married to his late brother,
Little
Joe Elder, up in Marksville, and she told me that Clara just did everything for Donald, so he's going to really, really be missing him. My deepest sympathies. And another one is Linda Riley. You remember Carl Riley used to be at American Bank
Sure.
for years and years? Now, he was one, that's before your time. He used to attend the retreats with the Opelousas group
yeah?
when he was here. Very active, very good Christian family. And Linda was diagnosed with cancer sometimes just before Christmas. I was talking to Cheryl at the American Bank. I wanted to verify it. It had all the indications that it was the Carl that worked at American Bank. And then they moved to Lafayette some years ago. His daddy owned the Dairy Queen for years, Joe Riley.
Right.
And of course, Joe's daddy was also one of the orphan train riders out of New York. Came down the
really?
same time as my dad and the others from this area. So our deepest sympathies on Linda's recent death. And I'll take one more. And speaking of Cheryl, I also was able to offer my deepest sympathies to her mother-in-law who just died, Bobby Jo Byram. And she said Bobby Jo was just so active with her children and her grandkids. They're going to really miss her. She was at age 80. And Mike Byram, Mitch Byram, and Tommy Byram, I know all of them. And then Susan Saucier, that must be one of the daughters, and Jennifer Fontenot, and April Byram of Doosan, and Virginia Moyes of Jackson. So our deepest sympathies to the Byram family.
There you go. How about another sponsor? We'll sneak in here with Dr. Kerry Thibodeau for all your general surgery type needs. Dr. Kerry Thibodeau can help you. He's board certified. He handles general and vascular surgical practices here in Opelousas. He can handle wound care type things if you're having problems healing from a previous surgery. Perhaps you're having some diabetic issues, burn issues. He can help you with all that as well with hyperbaric type treatments as well.
And I have an issue with Dr. Kerry Thibodeau, and it's a good issue.
What's that issue?
Well, last Saturday, the rabbit cook-off was scheduled. However, due to the weather that was predicted to be rainy, it didn't rain at all. It was a beautiful day, but you have to go by what the weather prediction is.
We'll see you in 3, KSLO.
They canceled it last Saturday. They've rescheduled it for Saturday, March the 24th. And of course, this is one of the big events that Dr. Kerry Thibodeau and friends have every year. It's to raise money in St. Hubert Benevolent Society is who they do, and he is the saint for the hunters and sportsmen. And this, of course, is an annual event, and so we hope that you remember that's going to be March 24th, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, and it's at Willie's Campground. And then, of course, this Monday when all the rain came up, the real rain came up, Sheriff Bobby Guitros had a golf tournament scheduled to raise money for his cops and kids.
The
campground
function for kids.
For kids, and the tournament was canceled ahead of time. Nobody showed up, and it's been rescheduled for Monday the 26th, not this coming Monday. 2 Mondays from now, second Monday from now, at Indian Hills Country Club. And speaking of Indian Hills Country Club, and of course, I just want to mention real briefly that the sheriff used to have a fundraiser for his campaign funds, but this is not, he's not going to have 2 golf tournaments. He's going to only have one, and this is the one that's going to help his cops and kids, which is paid by donations from the community.
The war chest is okay.
The war chest is okay, is right. He's got some time for that. Crawfish putt, they call it. Indian Hills Country Club is now serving boiled crawfish on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, opening at 6 p.m. You can dine indoors.
4 p.m.
4 p.m., I'm sorry, guys.
Early.
Big old 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Dine indoors or outdoors at the pool house, which is adjoining the clubhouse. Right. So dine-in orders or to go. And of course, you can have cold beer and everything else to go with it. And that's a new service that
don't have to be a member of the country club.
No.
You can go. You can wear casual attire. You don't have to dress up. Go in your shorts and a T-shirt.
Leanne, who is Lee and Shirley's daughter, passed this information on to us just prior to going on the program.
There you go. Oh, you know, Jamie Cormier, you know, we're talking about little Jamie, that we had a fundraiser for her over at Willie's Campground at one point we were
Yes.
involved with. She's been in traction up north at the hospital, the Children's Hospital, where they're working on perhaps going to do the surgery to help her back, which is what the fundraiser was about. But they're doing months of traction. I understand she's going to be on parole, I think is what she says. They're going to let her come home